Hello and welcome to Chapter 6, Section 2. Here we're solving systems of equations by substitution. This is by far my favorite way to solve systems of equations. I think it's the easiest. You get to have your own opinion. Step 1, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get one variable alone on one side of each equation, and you want that to be the same variable. Usually it's y, but it doesn't have to be. So, for example, if we started with these two equations, I would want to get y alone on each side. So I'm going to say minus 3x, and I'm going to have y equals negative 3x plus 2, so it's in y-intercept form. Here I'm going to say minus 4x, and y equals negative 4x plus 20. So we've gotten the same variable alone on one side of each of the equations. Step 2, since both equations equal y, they are both equal. So we're going to substitute what one y equals for the other y. So we've got these two equations, and if this equals y and this equals y, then this equals this. So we're going to say negative 3x plus 2 equals negative 4x plus 20. And now we have one equation with one variable that we can actually solve for. So step 3 is going to be to solve for x. And you want to try and keep the x positive just because it makes everything easier. Here I have a negative 3x and a negative 4x. If I add 4x to both sides, that's going to give me positive x's on this side. So I'm going to end up with 1x here plus 2 equals 20, and I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides, and I'm going to get x equals 18. Now we're going to substitute this x answer into one of the equations to find y. So we're going to stick that 18 into y equals negative 3x plus 2, y equals negative 54 plus 2, y equals negative 52. So now we have an x and a y, and we're going to check our answer. We're going to drop that in to the other equation just to make sure. Does y equal negative 4 times 18 plus 20? Well, that's negative 72 plus 20, which is negative 52. So, yes, we've got both of them taking this answer. Now our answer is going to have to be in an ordered pair. So our answer is actually going to be 18 comma negative 52. And now we're done. It's a lot of steps, but once you get used to it, they'll come very naturally, and it's all mathematical and it's no graphing, and that's why I like it. Let's try some others. Here we have y equals 2x and y equals x plus 5. So here we're going to say 2x equals x plus 5. I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and x equals 5. Now we're going to take our 5 and substitute it back in. Y equals 2 times 5 is 10. Does that work here? Y equals 5 plus 5? Yes, y equals 10. So that works. So our answer is 5 comma 10. Let's try another one. Here we don't have an equation that starts with a y, so let's make it start with a y. Negative 2x on both sides, so now we have y equals negative 2x plus 5. So now negative 2x plus 5 equals x minus 4. I'm going to add 2x to both sides just to keep my x's positive, which gives me 5 on this side and 3x minus 4 on that side. And I'm going to get rid of my numbers on this side, so just my x is by itself, and x equals 3. Let's plug x equals 3 back into the easy one. Y equals 3 minus 4, so y equals negative 1 here, and let's test this out. And I'm going to go back to the original equation. So 2 times 3 is 6 plus -1 equals 5. Yes, that works. So our answer is 3, -1. Let's try another one. Here, I've got both of my x's as singles, so I don't have to divide anything. So rather than make the y on the outside, I would have to divide each by 4, and this ends up being fractions, and that's a pain in the neck. I'd rather use x's this time. So I'm going to subtract 4y from both sides here, and I'm going to subtract y from both sides here. So here x equals -4y plus 6, and here x equals -y plus 3. So now -4y plus 6 equals -y plus 3. I'm going to add 4y to both sides, and 6 equals 3y plus 3, and I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, and 3y equals 3, and y equals 1. I'm going to plug 1 back into the easy one. So x plus 1 equals 3, and x equals 2. And if I stick 2 in here, 2 plus 4 equals 6, and that works. So our answer is 2, 1. Your job is to try a couple of these. Go to check it out number 1 on the bottom of page 405. There are 3 problems for you to do. Give it a try and push pause and come back when you're done. So here we have 2 equations that both are already in slope-intercept form, so they've got the y on one side. So we're going to make x plus 3 equal 2x plus 5. I'm going to subtract the x from both sides and the y 5 from both sides, so x equals -2. And I plug that in and it works for both of them, and so our answer is -2, 1. Here I have to subtract that 8y from both sides so that I get 2y minus 4 equals -y plus 16. And I manipulate this equation so that I learn that y equals 2. And when I plug y back in, I find that x equals 0, and our answer is 0, 2. Here, because both of my y's are single, I'm going to want to put the y on one side of the equation, so I put both of these in y-intercept form and set those to be equal, and solved for x equals 3. I plugged the 3 back into both of them, and I ended up with the answer 3, -10. Please ask if you have any questions on any of these.